I'm going to show you how quickly you can whip up some waffles in your Thermomix. Now, you know those days you're like, oh, I really feel like waffles at the cafe, but number one, I got to drive there. Number two, I have to wait for it. Number three, it's going to cost me money. Well, you don't have to when you've got a Thermomix. So let me today show you how easy it is to do this in your Thermomix. Now, I'm going to straight away come over to cookiedo.com.au. Now, into this, I can type, as you know, an ingredient or a recipe name, and I'm going to actually base this today off the Brazilian cheese puffs. Now, I'm just going to type in, because I know what I'm after, I'm going to type that in, and you'll see that it populates some options there. I think you can see. So I'm going to click on Brazilian cheese puffs, and that's going to come up. Now, you can see there's two options. It doesn't really matter which one I pick. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go straight to start cooking. Now, you might have noticed that I've actually already milled the cheese. I figured you didn't want to watch me mill Parmesan cheese down for 5 to 10 seconds, so I've just done it off camera beforehand, okay? But I'm going to give you some hints and tips around this today. This is not for those of you who are completely dairy-free. We are primarily dairy-free. However, these harder cheeses are something that we can eat, so we, will enjoy those. Can't drink too much milk and stuff like that, so ours will have substituted milk today as well. So just preheat the oven. I don't need to preheat the oven. I need to preheat my waffle maker up the back there. Okay, you do need a waffle maker to make waffles, but in saying that, these make amazing pancakes, pikelets as well. Obviously savoury in this case. I have done them very many moons ago as sweet, but we're going to stick with savoury today. Greasy muffin tray, we're not going to worry about that. And then the gyro cheese. Now this is often the reason people don't try this recipe. And actually, we don't need gyro cheese. You just need a cheese. So you can use tasty cheese and supplement it with a garlic clove or some paprika, something to give it a bit of a pull through of the flavour, or in this case, a sharp Parmesan cheese will do. So just use what you've got, okay? Insert the measuring cup, and this is what I've already done, okay? I didn't do 10 seconds, I did about 5 seconds. That was all enough. But I'm also a little short on cheese. I only had 60 grams because that was all that was left. Work with what you've got. Now, full cream milk, I am using an almond milk today. Okay, now what this means is I want to get a really nice browning on my waffles, and that's okay. I don't mind that mine won't be hugely brown because I know that's what I'm going to expect. Okay, I know that's just going to be the outcome, so that's okay with me. In that goes 60 grams of vegetable oil. Now, some of you would go buy veggie oil. Can I suggest you don't? Can I suggest you reach for something like grapeseed oil or sunflower oil? Okay, preferably the high oleic sunflower oil, which is better for you. Okay, we get ours in a big thing because we use it for mayonnaise a fair bit. The reason we don't use olive oil, and you can use it if you want, but if you do, you need to have something that pushes through the flavour of the olive oil. Otherwise, you're going to have olive oil flavoured cheese puffs, especially if you just put in your tasty cheese. Okay, so if you've gone and put tasty cheese in instead, it needs something to give it a flavour, especially if you use olive oil. So for many years I did use olive oil. Works okay, but as I said, garlic clove, paprika, something else to cut through that flavour. Alright? When you've got sunflower and grapeseed, it really doesn't have a huge flavour into it, so it means you taste the cheese. Now 1 egg in this goes. You know to crack your egg on here, right? You guys remember that tip? It's a great place to get a really nice sharp corner on it so that it doesn't lose your shells in. And then two more things. Arrowroot. Okay, this is the only tricky ingredient, so to speak, that you may not have in your cupboard unless you are gluten-free. So this is perfect for those of you who are gluten-free, or maybe you've got someone over for lunch or brunch and they're gluten-free. Now, this is usually sold in a little yellow Mackenzie tumbler style thing in the baking section. Okay, usually. It's about $1.99, $2.99, depending on where you live, for 170 grams worth. My suggestion is go to the section in the supermarket that has the coconut milk and cream. Because on the bottom shelf there, usually you will find a packet called tapioca starch. Oops, a little heavy, that's okay. And it is similar enough to use in this recipe. Now, we buy ours by the 5 kilos from honest to goodness, but for most people who are not feeding a family of 6, you don't need that. But what it is worth doing with that packet, the reason you buy the clear packet with the blue writing that is $1.90, usually maybe $2.69, it's 500 grams. So that's going to get you more batches out of it, right? And it's great value for what it is. So check that out. You will have to look because it's not obvious because they usually put it on the bottom shelf in that section with that coconut cream and coconut milk, and it's stacked there. Okay, so just a little tip there. Last thing is salt. Hugely important to cut through the flavouring. Okay, salt is that thing that means that it doesn't taste like flour in the end. 1 teaspoon of salt. I was trying to get the spoon off, but it wasn't working. In that goes. By the way, if we're doing this for lunch for my family of 6, we will double this recipe, and you can double it perfectly fine. Over the lid, and let's blend it. 20 seconds, speed 8, around that goes. Now, me and my impatientness is just going to give that 10 seconds because I don't want to use your timer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be scraping down the sides and doing another quick blitz on it to make sure I get all of it in, because it's a bit, the tapioca or the arrowroot is a bit like corn flour. It has the flakiness of corn flour, and you'll see in there potentially. You might be able to see that it's got little lumps. So we just scrape down the sides and we do that last 10 seconds, and then I'm going to be ready to put it into the waffle maker. So I'll spin that up and won't be long. Alright, now you might have seen I wiped off some stuff off the screen. It's really not going to damage your screen, okay? You can wipe down your screen with a damp cloth without an issue. The only thing your screen really doesn't like is super hot stuff, like toffee, okay? Don't dribble that down the screen. But the other thing you might find is if your screen is non-responsive, it's usually got something dried to it, okay? So often my kids cook with my Thermomix. They actually cook a lot with my Thermomix, so often there is food fingerprints or flour sprinkled or batter spilt. Okay, do keep it clean. We want to look after our Thermomix. We want it to last a very long time, and that it will. But you got to, look after it. If you put things there that are going to attract bugs, then you're going to have trouble. So that is now done. Now, some of you might look at it and go, "Oh my gosh, it's really runny." It's supposed to be. When you're making the little puffs, which by the way are phenomenal. Put some sauce in the middle, or some marinara sauce, absolutely amazing barbecue sauce in them. I even put a bit of cream cheese in the centre. Oh, they're just so good. But it's supposed to be runny, so don't stress. Those of you who are not used to cooking gluten-free, you'll often find gluten-free is runny and or sticky. So I have this preheated up the back now. It's nothing fancy. Okay, I am wanting to order the Breville one that is 4 different squares. I'll put the link below to what I want to order for the Breville one. But for the moment, I'm just going to work with me a little cheaply. I've got it preheated. Now excuse my back as I turn away. And all we do is pour it into the centre. And I don't know how much that is, enough to make it spread out to the outer. And we just put the lid down. And then I tend to put the timer on about 12 minutes. This is going to be so dependent on your waffle maker. If you get the really cheapies, they can take like 20 minutes. If you get the good ones like the Breville, it's exactly on a timer and it's perfect. So that's how you do it. Now I'm going to take photos of this at the end. This week is all about assembling a brunch. So velvety scrambled eggs are coming up. And then we've got the beautiful capsicum hollandaise sauce, which is just next level. I've got some tips on that as well so that you get the most bang for your buck. So come and check out those this week. But I'm excited to show you how you can save money with your Thermomix, making things with ease and simply. Okay, so do reach out if you've got questions. I love to hear from you. Put comments, remember to subscribe. And if you've got friends and family with Thermomixes or other varieties of thermo cookers, do make sure they know about these videos, because I'd love to support them, because there is so much that Thermomix can do to help them, so that life is easier. It, ultimately doesn't cost as much, that you've got freedom in your food. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining me today. Do remember to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video soon. So bye for now.